Joan Frances is, let me see her information. She is, she does color your life healing okay. She's a psychic medium, past life surrogate, vibrational diagnostics, psychic property surveyor, intuitive life coach, target remote viewer, and a paranormal investigator. She is known as the Scottish Seer. I refer a lot of people to her as a past life surrogate. She does something really, really unique. And she's going to help you unravel and reveal some things that you think that you're hiding that are truly important to you in your life, that can help you make or break your life in this lifetime, about karma. So Joan Frances, you got the stage for the next pretty much about a good 50 minutes. Okay.
Thank you, Sheri. And thank you again for hosting, in a sense, this whole virtual fair, simply because it allows us to connect with everybody in the world. There's no boundaries. And isn't that amazing? Because I want to talk today about boundaries, and yet I'm starting off by saying there is no boundaries. And of course, you know, I want to speak about the past life stuff. I have been working with past life energy actually since I was a child. I used to see, when I was just a young tot, I didn't really know what I was doing, but I used to see people's faces change. So now in my book, I call it facial recognition, because I would recognize that it was a person, but it wasn't the person that I was actually looking at. And it was after a while I recognized then that, you know, it was them in their past life, but I couldn't tell them where that past life was, or how they got there, or why I was seeing it, because I was too young. And then as I got into my early teenage years, I started to see this transformation take place in their faces. But at the same time, I would then start to see in the background of them everything that was actually happening in their past life. And I was able to tell people what was going on and how it was affecting them and things like that. But then 27 years ago, roughly, I was in the shower and I was getting ready to actually go in person to an exhibition. And it was the dead of winter. It was November here in Scotland, which was very snowy and cold. And I was getting ready, as I say, and I was given this information. But also at the same time, my energetic signature was changed to accommodate the holding of other people's energies of their past life for a long time, long periods of time, that is. So I won't go into all of that. You can read that in my book if you wish to join me in reading that. And as I say, but the big thing that happened that day was that I was shown everything of the reason behind why I'm about to speak to you about this today. And it is really about your soul survival. The survival of your soul depends on your conducting your life in a certain way in this passageway. So in this life, I want you to think about it as I go through this journey with you, talking to you in this moment. I want you to get a pen and paper and put it in front of you and start to write as I say things so that you can have it in front of you. And it will map out for you exactly what's going on in your life. So get that pen and paper and start to write as I speak. I want you to think about when I start to talk about certain areas of past life and how they can affect you in this life. And just note down, even if it's only a word or two. But I want you to think about what's mimicking in your life right now. And I use that word mimicking because we are actually playing out the events of our past, and especially our past lives, where we have got what some people would call is unfinished business. But is it unfinished business? Not really. It's a continuation of business. It's not unfinished because you haven't finished with it. So it can't really be unfinished when it's a continuation. And that's like our soul. Our soul is a continuation. We have just discarded one body and picked up another, just like changing overcoats, you know, summer and spring. We change our coats and our style of living because of the style of the atmospheric energy around us. The seasons, as we call it. And our past lives are just like that. Our incarnations are like the seasons of our soul. So in our past, when we have what we term as unfinished business, it really is continuation. But sometimes in our past, we have events that take place. And this is where it becomes quite specific. And that's how I work. I work specifically with certain past lives. I don't choose the past life. The past life is given to me by the universal oneness. Your God, just the same as it's my God. But your God and my God, who are the same, also know what is correct for you. So when I go into the past life, because I relive the past life for you, but when I go in and I connect to that past life, the specifics of the events come forward. I call it bearing witness. And we bear witness to what went on in the past life that now has become continuous into this life. Certain events that could have took place that you yourself did not instigate. You yourself did not create or want to create in your past life, but these events took place. And what happens is that the mimicking vibration, the impression of that event, then is now impressed into the incarnation chamber in your encodement of your life's journey. That encodement can trigger at specific points in life. We call it the timeline. It can be specific times in your life that mimic the times that were relevant in the past life. In other words, the age, the season, it can even be right down to the culture that you were actually in. It even brings forward the power of past life imprints. We talk about, birthmarks. We talk about, unknown marks in the body, why they were there in the first place. But here's the thing, it even gets deeper than that. Yeah, we may have a mark in our body to tell us that, yeah, that was a stab wound, a gun wound, or you fell and you broke your arm and it burst through your skin, or whatever took place in that moment. But it can go deeper. It can actually go into your DNA. It can imprint into the actual DNA that you will have certain conditions in this life. So think about the conditions that you have at the moment that nobody else in your family has. Nobody else, understands why you're suffering the way that you suffer. It can come right down to emotions, to the way that you think, the way that you actually conduct yourself in life, the way that you actually act with other people. And you could sit there and go, I don't know why I done that. I don't know why I said that. I didn't want to say that, but I just felt that was the way that I felt and I had to speak. I had to get it out. Or is it that you attract? Because that encodement into your energy is that you're like a beacon. As I say, we are transmitters as well as receivers. That is the power of our energy. But are you transmitting out that you are attracting these negative people into your life? Attracting certain situations? How many times have I heard when people have turned around and said, oh, that's me, that's just me all over. I always attract the same rubbish person, or I attract the negative, or I always attract these certain types of romantic energies that just cause me pain. Or you might be like, why is it my whole family think entirely different from me? Why is it all my family come together, but I feel the one left out? Or you have a group of friends that all gel and blend and you're so desperate to fit in, but yet never fit in. You attract what's going on that is, some people call it unfinished. I say it's continuation. but you mimic into these energies because they are, I sometimes use the analogy of the jigsaw puzzle. And imagine that you have two jigsaw puzzles in front of you. This one represents your present life, and this one represents your past life. But the pieces were never complete. Now, remember what I said? Uncompleted. Okay, so they were never completed. But certain few thought, I'll just pop them into the next life because we'll complete them then. But every time you go to get that piece in that jigsaw puzzle and you try and fit it into this picture of this life, this present day life, it's never going to fit. So every time, think about that as a timeline. Every time that piece comes up and it tries to get fitted into that jigsaw puzzle, it's never going to fit there. And therefore, it's always going to cause you disturbance, that kind of an unbalanced energy that causes you to feel out of sorts or causes you to feel that you don't fit in, causes you to feel that you want to give up. You don't want to, in a sense, carry on because you feel as though you're hitting a brick wall. And every time you hit that brick wall, it's because of the mimicking patterns from the past. I have watched people through the course of doing past life work with them, that they have brought on into their energy the full stop, as I call it, where they don't do what they know it's within them. If you're sitting there and you're saying to yourself, I know I could do better than this. I know I should be out there in the public eye helping other people. Or you might be saying, like Sheri says earlier, we all have a book within us. Maybe you're saying, why is it I can't get my book, out there? Or maybe you know that you're good at medical and you think, I don't know if I should go, I might fail. But yet you're desperate to heal people in the medical profession field, or maybe you're a painter and you dabble with brush paints, but you'll never really put one out there for everybody to see. You'll hide it behind the cloth on the easel. Maybe you're good at something else. Maybe you're a great inventor and you've got a drawer in your desk full of ideas, but you'll never go to patent them simply because you think, maybe they're not going to be good enough. Maybe other people will just laugh at me. Or maybe they'll think I'm trying to be more than I am. But you'll never really know if it's a pattern that you're carrying from the past into the present, because until you bear witness. And that was one of the things that I was told when I was given this gift. And I say it's a gift because I didn't learn it. It was a gift that apparently I was being, in a sense, groomed for ever since I was born. So therefore, it was in my DNA. I was told it was my birthright and my birth passageway to actually have this gift. That means I've done this before in a previous life. And I'm here again to do it again. I was also told it was to aid other people. I was to bring this knowledge forward so that people became aware that they could clear the karmic energy before they stood in front of their universal God and bear witness to their life. So this is the soul survival energy. But in this moment, it's a case of identifying within yourself what holds you back. Now, you could be blaming someone else. And by all intents and purposes, there may be a thread of evidence to show you that that is true. Maybe someone is telling you that you can't do something and therefore forbidding you in this life from actually achieving what you want to do, or even do what you want, as a matter of fact. So if that's the case, were you held in captivity before? Were you held as a hostage in your past life? Or were you under house regime of maybe a husband or a overseer who was controlling your energy or your movements in a past life? And here you are again, finding yourself in the same position in this life. Is it the fact that you were so good in your past life that an event took place that possibly others died or was injured badly, and now you took the blame in the past life for those deaths or those injuries, even although you didn't instigate it to happen? But because you were a leader, you felt responsible for these people, and you died yourself thinking that you caused all of their deaths. In this life, you will struggle, and you will struggle with authority. You will struggle with being in your own authenticity of your energy, and you will also struggle for taking on board that moment where you can stand up and give a talk, give an address, give advice. You'll be one of these people that have all the ideas inside them and it's screaming out at you. But you'll be like, but I'm not really the right person to step up there and say that. I'll just stay in the background. But by staying in the background, you are soul destroying your own self, simply because you were meant to be the leader again. Because you're carrying what I call, and I have designed for description in my book, misplaced karma. Because over those years of working with people doing past life surrogacy, and also I am a clinical hypnotherapist in the full 60 aspects of hypnosis. So I understand on both sides of the spectrum, from a therapeutic side and also from an energetic side, where the energy works with past life. And in past life surrogacy, I have coined the phrase misplaced karma. And misplaced karma is that you have taken on board the blame for something that you did not design, but yet you felt compelled within your energy because of grief, fear, and anything else that came along at that moment, that you were to blame for the incident that took place. And sadly, by bearing witness, we find that out. And in one moment, I say sadness, because it meant that you have lived this entire life holding on to that grief, holding on to that blame that has stopped you. That's what I call the full stop in your own development in this lifetime, this present day time. But I also see it as a moment of celebration. I see it as celebration simply because now you have bear witness to what the truth was, the truth of what took place. And there's an old saying, and you've heard it probably many times, the truth will set you free. Nothing more true. Because when you bear witness to that past life, that specific life, not a random life of looking into your past and saying, yes, you were this person or that person, and looking at all the processes, but the specific life that has held you back. And why do I say the specific life? Because when I do past life surrogacy, it's not like, going through hypnosis and finding out, who you were and everything there. And we do that. That comes with it. But the specific life is a life that is actually imprinting into this present day. And that means that you will understand what comes forward. So when I actually live that life, because I do live that life, I feel it, I see it, I smell it, I touch it, I taste it. I normally say, if you were kissed in the cheek, I will feel the passion of that kiss in the cheek. But if you were also punched in the face, I will feel the trauma of the pain and the emotion and the fear and the anguish and everything else that actually comes with that. I am able to tell you the extent of what has gone on there and bring forth the information specifically about those moments in that life. But the wonderful thing that I always think, and to me I call it the jaw-dropping moment, is that I don't actually have to ask you anything else or tell you anything else, because you then will tell me how that fits into this life, exactly as it played out in the past life. And sometimes there will be mimicking conditions. I've even had it where people have had an operation in this life. And lo and behold, without knowing anything, I do this without knowing anything about the person, but it mimics a scar or a wound that actually killed them in their past life. Exactly the scarring where the wound was of their past life was the operation in this life. Or it will be the conditions. There's actually a video on my website in the video section, a full session of Past Life Surrogacy. Very interesting to go and watch. And this was not set up for display. It was actually a real live session of someone, the lady who's in the video, Carlene, and she had given me permission afterwards to use this. Now, even in that past life, you know, where she had been taken a prisoner from her own home. I won't go into the whole story, but please do go watch it because people say it's fascinating. But in this life, she had actually went to specialists, had MRIs done, had all sorts of testing done, because she really believed in this life that she had maybe a tumor or something, because she could smell this horrible smell up her nostrils. And she said, you know, I read up on it and it said it could be the cause of a tumor or it could be this. So she went to see, and they said to her, there's nothing there. There was nothing that showed up. Yet she was having the symptoms. And she was also having the pain. She also didn't want her children to go away, even though they were fully grown up and they only lived about a couple of miles down the road. And she would cry every time they were going away. Even as adults, she would cry. And she'd say, oh, I need to save them, you know. And she always had this. But cutting it short, in her past life, she was removed and she was brutally raped in her past life also, which actually mimicked in this life also. And where the MRI was concerned and everything else, it was because of the stench in her past life. She actually, in her past life, was calling out about the God Almighty smell, because they were imprisoned and they were left in their own excrement. And she could smell this in the past life. And in this life, she'd wake up with this God Almighty smell. And she said, you've just told me now, because I thought I was going off my head. And even when she had these MRIs done, and thinking that even in her description to doctors, even there, this is why she went for the MRIs, because they said you need to get an MRI. We think, you know, there may be something sinister going on here. And even they were shocked when the results of those MRIs was negative. They couldn't find anything. So she was left to think in this life. Think about it. She was left to think that she was going off her head, that she was imagining this stuff. But she wasn't. It was a mimicking from her past into her present. So you could be going through your life right now. And this is why I want to tell you about this, because you could be going through your life. And you might be suffering things that you don't need to, that's not even meant for you to actually, even to go through in this life, because you were meant to finish it in the life that you were actually living. All the pieces of the jigsaw was meant to be complete. But because they've skipped over, I should say, into this life, then it means that you need to complete it in this life. And to complete it is about going back to bear witness to it. And when you bear witness to it, it means that you can then actually put the pieces back into the box of where they should have been, and allow yourself to be set free in this life. I know for me, it's about the understanding, the bearing witness and the understanding of what the truth was about your past lives. And this can play out in any level of your life, physically, emotionally, mentally, sexually, and spiritually. They are all aspects of your life, and they intend to connect into all aspects of your present life as well. The power of past lives have been, really, it's been an amazing journey for me. I feel very humble about it as well. I'm very passionate about it, and I understand that passion comes from my experience with people. I have done thousands and thousands of these past lives, and every single one of them is an empowering moment, not just for the person, but for me, but also for everybody else who was involved in them. The power of forgiveness is ultimate in this. The power of forgiveness means that, no matter who or what went on, even if you were the instigator, even if you did do something wrong, it is not about judging you. Far from it. It's actually about the connection to where you are in the present moment. And where you are in the present moment is on a journey of your soul. And that soul journey is to allow the soul to become pure, the purest aspects of yourself, and to have that purity emanate out from you to everyone else in the world. And this is one of the gifts that I was given to aid people to get into that position. So it's all about, the power, in a sense, of allowing you to become whole again. We talk about the power of transformation. To release from your past lives is definitely one of those transformations. To connect into all dimensions of existence is another way. But that's for another time and another talk. So past lives, in a sense, is very much about connecting, understanding, bearing witness, and then bringing it into the present day. It's a 4-part session for me. So the first one is about bearing witness. The second is the collaboration with yourself. So this is where you tell me, and we put the past and the present together. We come to that understanding. And then there is a transmission process that takes place. In other words, the vibration of your energy is then put into a position of rectification. And that is what frees you in this life. But not only you, but everybody else who was involved in that past life. Now, we do have up to, I believe, 25 past. So if there's anybody who has any questions at the moment, I can open the floor for questions. And if we have time, we might even have a little sneak preview into a past life. So if anybody would like to ask a question, please pop your hand up. I will try and view the links, and maybe somebody else can help me if there's anybody here. If you have your hands up, So just put your hand up or unmute yourself and ask a question. I'll give a moment for that to happen. So has anybody got a question for me? No? No question?
I do.
Who's speaking first and foremost? Because I have no view of you.
Sorry, my name is Hazel. And,
Okay.
and my question, first timer in doing any of this. And my question is whether I come back, whether a person comes back in the same life form each time.
Ah, good question. Okay, so no is the answer, quick answer to that, because we can come back in the same form, or I have worked with people that have had animal life forms, you know, in their past and now come in as humans. I've actually worked with animals who have been a human, believe it or not, in their past life and come in as an animal in this life, you know. So the processes, in fact, there's an amazing story in my book, actually, where it was a triple life that I was working with, and where the gentleman was an animal as well. And so interestingly, how he kept the traits of the instinct of the animal as he was now in a human form. There's also as well, which is a fantastic, Hazel, question, because there's also a point to make here as well, that when you could come in, and we sometimes talk about group soul family coming back again, you know, so like the entire family, you know, reincarnates back, but they can reincarnate back into different positions of the family. I worked with a group, and one of the family members, so the mother and the father in the past life did not understand the children's behaviour, and it caused all sorts of mayhem in the past life. And in this life, the mother and the father actually came back as the children to their children in their past life. You know, it was so bizarre, but the traits of everybody that when they came back and how they all unfolded, they could virtually in this life, they could say, oh, that was me, I was the son. And now the son of the past life was now the mother in the present life. So they had swapped sex, you know, but swapped positions. So the son in the past life now was the mother, you see, in the present life. And the son in the past life was now, the daughter in the past life was now the father in the present life. And the mother and father kept the same sex, but became the son and the daughter in the present life. It was amazing. And yet they all identified with their traits, their own individual traits. So it was really, so I see it, sometimes it's so much fun, you know, because some people think when you're talking about trauma, you know, and when you think about the trauma aspect of what I do, and some people will say, is that not painful for you? Or, you know, is it hurting you in any way? And although I may express emotion and anger or fear or whatever is going on, you know, in the past life, because it's very experiential for me. So I am experiencing it in that moment. And even though that's happening, and sometimes I could even be absolutely soaked with tears. You know, my clothing could be literally soaked with tears, but I don't even know I'm crying until I come out. And it's not that I don't know what I'm doing. I am aware, if that makes sense. I don't know how to explain it. I am aware of what's happening, but because I'm so connected as being the surrogate, it's kind of like being in trance, but I'm not in trance. You know, I understand everything that's going on, but I don't feel it. It doesn't hurt me in any shape or form. So that is a really good question, you know, of what's going on there, Hazel, and that in itself. So even if you look around your family, as I call it, and see, because you can normally identify, with ones that, because in some families you'll say, oh, I just cannot get on with my sibling of such and such, we're always at loggerheads, in that way. And a lot of times that's what can happen, is because you may have been in a relationship before, and that relationship is now playing out in a different role, in this present day life. So it can be fun to kind of look and navigate. Now, I know a couple of people have put questions up into the feed line here. So let me see. So who's this? Okay, so I'm adopted and I don't feel connected to my adopted family. I have met my blood parents and I feel more connected to my blood father. Does that mean we could have known each other in a past life? Your adopted family, I don't know if you can be pulled up, if Vicky can pull you up on screen if you even want to be here. So welcome on screen if you want to. I'm not even sure if I can actually pronounce your name right here. It's P. Boblin 71, I think. So the answer to this question is that your blood family obviously is your natural family, so you're going to be more connected to the bloodline within there. But do bear in mind that your adopted family, okay, has came into action in this life, and it means that they have been here, and it can be to aid you in your way because they chose you to adopt you, in this life. So there is a form of connection, but it can be for manner of different reasons. I saw where adopted people came in because the incident in the past life was created by the adopted people, and now they're here to rectify, they're here to take care for you, they're here to look after you, to love you, in that way. Or the adopted people in this life, the people who adopted you, I should say. So in other words, the adopted family in this life has lost tragically a member of their family in the past life where they may have been lost. And in this life, they are searching, and they will bring into the fold who they feel connects in that way. So adopted energy plays a role in different ways. And one thing I do want to say just now is that even although this has been 50 minutes on here, it's still relatively short to give you every aspect, of what I can deliver in a sense in a session. So the power of bloodline family is that you must have a strong connection in this family, even although you were adopted for whatever reason, and you will probably find that the reason of that adoption in the first place will be tangled up in the past life. And it may not even just be one life. So I have to point that out at this moment as well. The past life, we call it past life, but through the incarnation side of things, you can go to the end of this life without actually completing, what you were meant to do in this life, which then means that it's a continuation. See, it's a continuation from the past to the present. It's a continuation, and you'll reincarnate again simply because you didn't complete it in this life. So this is why sometimes I go in to do past life surrogacy, and we find that there's maybe 2 lives there, sometimes 3. The most I've ever done in one session, which was a mammoth long session, was actually 5 lifetimes. And it was unbelievable how the connections through each one, how they entangled from one life into the next, and even into this one. And that's really the power, of that. And somebody's put something up here. I don't think it's relevant to what I'm doing just now. So again, so thank you for that question on the actual chat line as well. So in this
I have a
moment,
question.
oh, yep, who's speaking? Sorry.
Christine Powell.
Hi, Christine. I don't know who you are.
Yes. Hi.
Okay. Hi.
My question is, I'm the family oddball.
Okay.
I'm the middle of 5 kids,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm the oddball from the respect that the rest of the family is outgoing, and I'm the quiet one. And now I'm starting to tear. And I tend to retract instead of putting myself out there.
So can I stop you? Can I stop you for a moment before you say anything else? I know I'm watching the time as well, so I'm going to do this really fast. Okay. Is because when I connect to your energy right now, you know, I am actually seeing a past life with you. But in that past life, I feel as if I have and it's going to be really fast here, so bear with me on this.
Okay.
Because I feel when I go into the past life with you and I become your surrogate, so I hope I've got permission to do this. Have I? I must ask. Yeah, right. So as I go in here and I go there, I feel as though I'm actually near what I would call sulfur. It's like sulfur beds, okay? And you are actually leading people, okay? And I have this moment of where you're leading. So you are a leader. You were a leader, you know, in this past life. But you are male of energy. You are of African origin. So I'm not. You're in the dark. I can't see you, so I don't know what origin you are. So you're African of origin, but you're coming across here and you're leading them across. But as you lead them across, I am actually going into which you must have had a weakness. You must have had a weakness, you know, in your lungs, in your breath, in your chest, you know, because as you go across the beds, it's catching you. And as that happens, I feel as if I cannot breathe. And therefore you try and take them across a shortcut as you see it. But unfortunately, as you take them across that shortcut, and you're so emotional as you're walking, because you know that you're in danger of collapse. And as you take them across there is this, it just gives way. There's nothing that you could have done, and it just gives way. And everyone, including your own family, actually perish in that. Now, I know I could go back in this life and find out the reason why and everything else, but I hope you respect what I'm doing here at the moment, because I know I haven't got time to investigate fully. But this is the reason why you are, and you do try and save as many as you can by pulling them across. So you were pretty strong, you know, young man. But as you get them across, unfortunately, your own energy does not It's not that it cannot, it does not recover from this, okay? But as you die, as you are actually dying, you're actually taking on board the blame for all their deaths. Now, you were a people person, and you were absolutely a very strong leadership person, so I have to say that. So I'm going to ask you this, we've only got minutes on this now, I'm sorry, but do you have any breathing conditions in this life?
Sort of congestion, basically.
Okay, because that's, yeah, right. Okay, so if that's the case in this life, but you're shadowing yourself in this life. That's the biggest thing that I feel from you, is that you are shadowing. So when I talk about shadowing, it means that you'll be the middle person in the family. You'll sit yourself in the, where the elder and the young ones are taking, center stage, and you'll sit away in the background, in there. But also, even in your leadership side of things, going out into the world, you're going to shrink into the background, okay? Because by putting yourself out there, you'll feel responsible. And it's about responsibility.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. And, please come to the room after this so that I can talk to you, about it further. But it is about responsibility, but it's about hiding. In other words, one of my chapters in my book is called Hiding in Plain Sight, and that's exactly what I want to say to you. It's about hiding in plain sight. So you position yourself in this world in the middle. Always have people above you, always have people below you, but you'll never be at the top, and you'll not put yourself at the bottom, because you will not put yourself at the bottom, because you know that you're not at the bottom.
Wow.
You understand? You know that you're not at the bottom, and you know that in this life. Okay, so fantastic. But please move into room 14, so straight after this, so that we can do this conversation.
I will do that.
Okay.
Thank you.
But thank you, for asking that question. And sorry, it's one of those things for me is people ask me questions. I try and restrain it when I'm on platform, just supposedly doing a talk. But it's sometimes difficult, when you reach in there and it hits you so hard, that it's meant to come out. So it was meant to come out for you today. Okay, but thank you. Oh, fantastic. Oh, thank you for the hearts, the love hearts. So brilliant stuff. Okay, so remember that in this life, you have the choice. You have the choice to keep going the way that you're doing it, or to stop and address, the situation that you find yourself in this life. And if you have got difficulties just like that, where you feel, everybody else my family is out there and doing things, but I feel I'm shrinking into the background, then that's exactly because you could have been in a situation, desperate situation, just like that one there, brief as it was, but the desperate situation was you needed to take them away, to basically to safety. So again, I'm going to say I do have a special today for people. I never said it earlier, but I do have a special. You can book it through my link tree. You can pay it through my link tree link, which I've put into the feed line. So if you get it there, I'll pop it back up, or hopefully somebody will pick it up and put it back in there for me. I popped it all up into the feed line at the beginning of my talk. And I'm doing my past life readings today for which will take up to 30 minutes, but a full past life reading for $60 today, and only today. I am only doing that today here. You can have a psychic reading with me for $1 a minute. 20 minutes is your minimum and 60 minutes is your maximum. And of course, also in my Linktree bio there, if you click on it and you go into my scheduling, you'll see only for today, I have put up a full hours past life surrogacy session, which can be booked. You can book it for a different time out of today, and that is there in my past life surrogacy, and I booked it. Normally I do an hour and a half to 2 hours for £200 pounds sterling, okay, which equates to about $280. But today I put a special for 111, I think it's £111 for a 1 hour special. So you can book to have the whole thing done out with today. It gives you a different, it gives you options to book, and you can book your own time, and it gives you the schedule there, and you can book it in for yourself. That's in my calendar within my Linktree bookings, okay? So that's there today. And I don't think I've missed any questions in the no. So and I know that Jen is coming up next, so you're going to have fun with her as well. So today, thank you very much for being here. My room is room 14, and please come and join me, in room 14. And again, you can have a psychic reading done, or you can have a past life done today with myself. And there's also my special value offer is actually on my Calendly calendar, which you can book at your own pace. But it has to be booked today. It will be taken down tomorrow morning, because you run obviously into the night. I am only here until your 7 p.m. of EST time, which is midnight here. But I think we've got an hour out because of clocks just now. So I do have a door prize for today as well, which is a 30-minute reading with myself today. So you can choose whether it be a past life if you want, or you can choose for a psychic reading. So I am giving that. It will be taken today in my room 14, so it will be booked today to be concluded today as well.
So yeah, they're already putting it in the chat. Sheri White.
Oh, are they? All right, cool.
Yeah, so guys, put your number in the chat from 0 to 100 if you want to win a half-hour session with this amazing lady. If you enjoyed her past hour experience, yeah, you would love to have an experience with her. I always refer every one of my clients to her. Yeah, here comes the numbers. They're going to blow it out of the water. Sometimes she might even.
Numbers here. Right, I've got the number in front of me.
Yeah, don't look at the screen. Write it down.
No, I've put it down. I put it on paper here in front of me.
That's right. Let's write it down. Okay, so this is the first door prize of the day. She's going to let you get 30 minutes of her time. And coming up next, still in the playroom, we have Raphael Weissman is still in there. He's talking about Shungite. He's channeling the angels. And coming up next, we have Jen Post, who is going to be an amazing speaker. So stick around and I'll introduce you. So she's getting ready to come onto stage. And if you want to have any psychic healing and readings, go into room number 2. Who is running that room right now? Let's see. We have Angela's back in the room running it. We have Rochelle help running it. We have a whole bunch of people that are available for 5 minutes, and you can have reduced show prices. So 0 to 100, 0 to 100 in the chat if you want to win a session with Joan Frances. All right, and if you want to have, are you going to go to your room for Q&A? You're going to go right to?
Yes, definitely.
Yeah? Okay, so number 14, you can go into her room and ask her some questions. Then you can go into room number 2 to book appointments with her. And then she'll be back in the playroom at 3 o'clock. Okay, and she's going to be with us until 7 o'clock our time, which is midnight her time. Don't forget, she's 5 hours in advance, all right?
No, we're 4 hours just now. We're actually only 4 hours just now.
It changed?
Yeah, because your summertime changed and ours doesn't change until the end of the month. So at the moment, from UK to EST time, it's only 4 hours of a difference just now.
Oh, I didn't know that. So we just gained 1 more hour time. UK is 1 hour more. Cool. All right. So guys, we're going to do a 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Put in your chat. If you're listening to us right now from Facebook or YouTube, you need to be here to have all the interactive experiences. This is where the prizes are. You're going to win thousands of dollars of prizes today. You have interactive experiences in room number 1 and in room number 2, you have 5 minutes free, as well as reduced show prices. We got this going on until 10 o'clock at night. It doesn't cost you anything to join us. We only ask for love, donations, and support. Okay, ready, Joan? 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And what is your number?
Number 12. Yeah, I think we have
Hazel 7.
7.
7 is Hazel.
Yeah, I think it's the closest.
It's almost like, one of those game shows. You put the lowest number, the highest number, so that you're going to win. Like we have Vicky put number 1. So she thought she would get the closest one. Almost did. Almost did. We had 1, 5, and 7, but Hazel
Yeah.
won. Okay,
Mhm,
so
mhm.
Hazel won the prize. Congratulations, Hazel.
Yay.
So Hazel, you can follow Joan to her room and exchange information for you to get your prize redeemed.
Okay. So thank you very much, Sheri. And you were talking about books earlier, okay? Lynn Singer, who's on here later, has the most amazing interactive book I have ever saw in my life. It's amazing. Takes you so deep into yourself. It is unbelievable. You must ask her about her book. It's an interactive book. It is absolutely.
Well, maybe she needs to talk about this a little bit more.
Oh,
The only reason I didn't say it is because I couldn't see her behind me. I was kind of going like this to see who has a book, and I missed her. But yeah,
Yeah.
so if you endorse her book, everybody check out Lynn's book. She's going to be one of our speakers tonight. And she's going to be
absolutely.
speaking at 6 o'clock on the main stage and 8 o'clock in the playroom.
Fantastic. Okay, and I see people in the fun room at 3:30 EST time.
3:30.
EST time.
Oh, yes. All right. Thank you, Joan Frances. Love you.
Okay, namaste. Bye.